When you talk about the balance of thought, is that like thought averaging when it finally tips the balance one way or the other?
It is a good way of putting it. It is the best way that we can think of. You are sort of on a teeter-totter, except you have so many thoughts. In other words, let us say that you have been encouraged, you were born into a critical household, and so everything you did was criticized. And so you very early began to feel that you couldn't do anything right. And so you began to expect criticism. And so as you went out into the world, your expectation of criticism was so strong that you attracted. That is where prejudice comes from. It is our notice that prejudice is not offered so much as it is attracted. Because you see, two who under the standards of the rules of prejudice should be prejudiced against, except one gets it and the other one doesn't. And it is because the expectation differs, you see. The best example that we have recently observed was Jerry and Esther and Tracy driving in this area of Los Angeles, coming upon an accident. And as they looked out of the automobile, they saw a dead man lying upon the road, not 10 feet from Esther's window. Now, Esther's thought was not what it would have been even a year ago. She did not ask, why do these things happen, or could not something have intervened to save this poor soul? Instead, she said, why am I here looking at this? For she is coming to understand that he was going to have that experience with or without her, but she is willing now to assume some responsibility for what she is participating within. And then she remembered she had given a great amount of attention to a joke that had been offered by a comedian, talking about not wanting to buckle up, would rather be thrown clear. And Esther was amused by it and had repeated it several times, had repeated it each time she buckled up, as a matter of fact, for a period of days. And so it did not seem strange to her as she was looking at this dead man upon the road, the first one ever that she had seen who had been thrown clear, that it would come in the time when she had been giving emphasis to that subject. Now, as we have told this story for the purpose of stimulating your awareness to the power of your thought, many of our friends have responded very strongly to it, and they say, Abraham, that is frightening, that I'm afraid to give thought. You mean everything I think about I might bring into my experience? And we say yes, but not immediately. It is the balance of thought. You must give a great deal of thought. What most of you do with most things, whether you want them or whether you don't, is that you give enough opposing thought by virtue of the mix of thought that is around you that you pretty much cancel everything out, the good things and the bad things. And so you're living a sort of mediocre, going down the middle of the road, humdrum life where nothing really good and nothing really bad happens to most of you, you see. As an individual, the balance of thought that you think is what you are living. And if you are ever wanting to know what your balance of thought is, look at your life. Because what you are living is an absolute correlation to your balance of thought. Nice, isn't it? And so, is not most of it pretty good? Are you not doing very well on the whole? As an individual, is it not more good than it is bad? If you say no, then we say, then conscientiously and deliberately begin to tip the balance of thought. For example, if you do not have as much money in your experience as you are wanting, we would say, pay attention to what you're saying. Some wonderful people wrote Jerry and Esther a letter and said, please remove us from your mailing list. While you are the cheapest and the best, Esther was happy that they added the second, that we know, we still do not have the money to come to see Abraham. And so, please remove us from your mailing list. And Esther said, I feel strange in doing it. And her mate said, not only do they not have the money today, they don't believe they will ever have it. Now, rather than making those sorts of statements, we would encourage you to put a wallet in your pocket and put $100 in it. You can scrounge it from somewhere, can you not? Someone said, Abraham, you obviously have not been a physical being recently. For $100 does not go very far. And we said, if you will spend that $100 mentally 1,000 times today, you have spent $100,000, and that will change the balance of the way you feel. It is your balance of thought and feeling that is affecting what you are receiving, you see. And so, let us say that you are not as healthy as you want to be. Pay attention to that subject. Notice how when you are watching the television and they offer those statistics, pay attention that you've been tuning in. You've been listening. You've been saying, wait, I want to hear this. They're talking about my condition. We say to you, friends, pay attention to what you are thinking, especially regarding the areas of your life that are not as you want them to be, and you will discover exactly why they are here. And then you just have to change a little bit of thought. Very often, it is not a big change that is needed in order to really affect your life drastically. And remember, once you have tipped the scale a little bit, now you are on the downhill slope. Now it will be easy. Now the momentum, now law of attraction can carry you from absolute illness to absolute health, from absolute poverty to absolute wealth. We made a very nice rhyme, did we not? You're getting the point? You do not need to live less than you are wanting. But you cannot keep thinking and feeling the way you have been if you want any sort of change. The exciting thing about this knowledge is that you don't need anybody else to agree with you. Not one other being in all of the universe has to agree with you that it's okay that you be healthy or wealthy or that you live in that house or drive that car, because nobody else gets to choose. You are dominant. The way you feel affects your experience. Now let us broaden that a little bit. Let us talk about some co-creating. Now let us include one other. Now you are a couple. And now you don't feel as free right away. Agreed? A minute ago we said it only matters what you want. You are the creator of your experience. Whatever you want, if you will think about it and feel good, you will have it. And you say, yes. And now we have brought another in. And we say, now you are co-creating. And you say, oh. Now what if that one doesn't want me to have that? Or what if I want that and the other wants that? Now what do we do? Now we say, as two coming together in co-creation, the balance of thought of both minds is what is equaling the relationship. And if you are a family of 10, the balance of thought of 10. And if you are a world of how many billion you are, then your mass consciousness is the balance of thought. But what we are most wanting you to hear is that you are always dominant within the mass consciousness, within the family, within the couple. Because you have the power to give your thought to what you're wanting and extract behavior, circumstances, and events, whether it is from a world or whether it is from one other. But you must be willing to give your thought to what you are wanting and take your thought from what you are not. Have you noticed that almost every relationship is much better in the beginning than it is later on? Because in the beginning, both of you are looking for things you're wanting to see. And so you are picking out the favorite parts and you are extracting them from one another, and it is a very blissful dance that you have. But then as time goes on, somebody sees something they don't like. And as they look at it, and they feel the disappointment of it, they begin oozing or radiating that sort of magnetic attraction, and now the other one shows more of that to them and resents doing it, and then they begin the picking process. A beautiful woman said to us, Abraham, my mate asks me to do things that I don't want to do sometimes. And we said, what do you do? She said, I do it anyway, but I don't like it, I resent it. But I want to keep peace. And so I do it. And we said, and then what? She said, and then I think of something for him to do so that we get even again. And we said, and everyone is sort of resenting it along the way, and so it becomes a, what can you do for me today? I did that for you, what will you do for me? We said, how do you feel as you are doing something that you are not wanting to do? And she said, I feel negative. And we said, but what is missing? What is it that you believe is being treaded upon? She said, I think my freedom is being stepped upon. And we said, you are perceiving that you are not free because another has asked you to do something you don't want to do? She said, that is correct. We said, think about it. You are so free that every thought that you think affects your experience. You cannot be freer than that. Do you understand that no matter what another is asking of you, your freedom can never be taken from you? You see, it is what we were talking about earlier. So many of you are taking action to try to compensate for things you want that you don't know you have, like health, or like freedom, or like growth. And so you're running around resenting others for your feeling that you don't have something that you've always had. Strange, isn't it? And then you're giving the credit to them because they have asked something of you that has made you feel less than free, when feeling less than free was your problem all along. It had nothing to do with the other. The other just happened to be there when you discovered it. Are you getting the point? You are here in this physical body to discover your freedom, to discover your health, to discover your wealth, to discover whatever it is you are wanting. But until you stop giving the credit to the others who are taking your health from you, or who are taking your freedom from you, then you will not be in that balanced place. And so, by paying attention to the way that you feel, by living and then assessing, that is the way you discover what the balance of your thought is. You're getting the point?